the Earth. A blue and green sphere spinning through the vast emptiness of space. We often think of it as a planet dominated by humans, but what if it wasn't? In today's video, we are going to take a look at what would happen if dinosaurs were never extinct. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 165 million years. They dominated both land and sea, filling every niche. So when they died out, nature had to wait a long time to fill all those ecological gaps. But since mammals, including our ape ancestors, were small proto-wombats back then, they were able to quickly evolve into many different species that filled in these niches. If the asteroids hadn't struck and wiped out the dinosaurs, mammals might not have been able to do this, or they might have evolved very differently. The asteroid impact is thought to have caused the Cretaceous-Spalazian extinction event, which killed off an estimated 75% of all plant and animal species. This included most of the dinosaurs, with only birds being their surviving descendants. This catastrophic event allowed mammals to diversify into a wide variety of forms that we today associate with other animals, such as whales, bats, and primates. For example, the ancestors of whales are believed to have been small terrestrial mammals that began to specialize in aquatic life after the extinction of the dinosaurs. Without the mass extinction, it's possible that whales may not have evolved at all, or at least not for millions more years. Similarly, the ancestors of bats and primates likely would have faced greater competition for resources from dinosaurs and may not have had the opportunity to diversify until much later. But this isn't the only way that the extinction of the dinosaurs affected mammals. The impact also caused massive environmental changes that had profound effects on the evolution of life on Earth. For example, the asteroid impact caused a rapid increase in carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere due to the burning of vast amounts of fossil fuels. This led to a greenhouse effect, which caused global temperatures to rise by several degrees Celsius. These changes in temperature and climate would have had a major impact on the distribution and abundance of plant and animal species. Mammals that were able to adapt to the new conditions were better able to survive and reproduce, passing on their genes to future generations. Over time, this led to the evolution of new species and the extinction of others. And finally, the impact triggered massive volcanic activity, which released large amounts of ash and gas into the atmosphere. This led to a series of climatic changes that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. Some regions experienced heavy rainfall, while others suffered prolonged droughts. These changes in climate would have put pressure on mammals to adapt or die out. Those who adapted were able to better exploit available resources and pass on their advantageous traits to their offspring. In this way, the extinction of the dinosaurs inadvertently paved the way for the evolution of mammals and ultimately led to the emergence of humans. But what if the asteroid had never hit? First of all, let's take a look at the size of this rock from space. It was around 10 kilometers or 6 miles in diameter and weighed about 300 billion kilograms. It crashed into Earth at a speed of about 170,000 kilometers per hour. That's 40,000 times faster than a speeding bullet. This asteroid was so big that if it hit somewhere else, it could have potentially wiped out the dinosaurs without causing such a catastrophic event that affected other life on Earth as well. For example, if it had hit Antarctica, then it could have triggered massive climate changes that the dinosaurs couldn't have survived, but luckily for them, it didn't. Instead, it landed in shallow water off the coast of what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. This caused giant tsunami waves to slam into land masses across the globe, but it also created a huge cloud of dust and vaporized rock that spread into the atmosphere. This blocked out the sun and led to a nuclear winter. If this asteroid had hit somewhere else, say Siberia, then the dust and vaporized rock wouldn't have spread out as far, and global temperatures might not have dropped as drastically. And although the impact would have still been catastrophic enough to wipe out the dinosaurs, there may have been fewer casualties among other species, meaning that nature wouldn't have needed to wait as long to fill the ecological gaps left behind. It may have even led to some mammals evolving sooner, like the terrestrial ancestors of whales. Perhaps they would have eventually specialized in aquatic life earlier, meaning that whales might exist today in their earliest recognizable form. The thing is, though, that if the asteroid had hit somewhere else, then it may not have been quite as destructive, but it would have still caused major damage. Impact would have generated so much heat that it would have evaporated lots of the nearby ocean water. and hot rocks and debris would have rained down on the surrounding area, destroying everything in sight. So wherever the asteroid had hit, it would have caused significant local devastation, perhaps even wiping out some species that lived there. So what if the asteroid never hit at all? Or perhaps it was deflected by some cosmic accident? Without the mass extinction event, dinosaurs would have continued to diversify. We might have seen new kinds of predators evolving unique hunting strategies, plant eaters adapting to shifting climates, and maybe even species developing higher intelligence than what we see in modern reptiles or birds. But here's where things get interesting. In our timeline, it was the extinction of the dinosaurs that allowed mammals to flourish. Without giant reptiles ruling the land, mammals were free to expand and evolve into bats, whales, primates, and eventually, humans. But in a world still dominated by dinosaurs, mammals might never have risen beyond small nocturnal niches. But evolution doesn't always follow a straight line. Some paleontologists point out that certain small bird-like dinosaurs, especially troodontids, already had relatively large brains, excellent vision, and possibly even complex social behaviors. Given tens of millions of years more to evolve, who's to say they couldn't have developed higher intelligence? And we don't need to look far for clues. Birds, which are living descendants of dinosaurs, show surprising levels of intelligence. Crows and parrots, for instance, can solve puzzles and use tools in ways that rival primates. If birds manage this in just 66 million years, it's not impossible that non-avian dinosaurs could have followed a similar path if they had been given the chance. The asteroid didn't just wipe out dinosaurs, it reshaped the entire planet's ecosystems. Dinosaurs gone, mammals, birds, and flowering plants stepped in to fill the void. But if dinosaurs had continued to dominate, that balance of life would look radically different. Forests might have been constantly reshaped by herds of sauropods. Vast groups of hadrosaurs could have been migrating across continents. Apex predators like tyrannosaurs might have managed prey populations much the way wolves controlled deer today. And large mammals like elephants, rhinos, and big cats probably never would have existed at all. Even insects might have gone down a different evolutionary path. Many flowering plants co-evolved with mammals and pollinators like bees, but if giant reptilian grazers had stayed dominant, plants might have evolved defenses tailored against them, instead of forming the partnerships we see today. Now let's stretch the thought experiment even further. What if humans did evolve alongside dinosaurs? Our world would look nothing like it does today. Agriculture, for instance, would have been nearly impossible. If massive herds of hadrosaurs could sweep through and destroy entire fields overnight, cities might have been built more like fortresses, designed to keep out predators far more dangerous than any living animal. Trade and travel routes might have been dictated by dinosaur migration paths. Whole societies could have developed religions or mythologies centered around these towering creatures, worshipping them as gods, or perhaps fearing them as rivals. But here's the bottom line. If dinosaurs had survived, the ripple effects would have completely reshaped life on Earth. No large mammals, no primates, and very likely no humans. This is what scientists call evolutionary contingency. The idea that small random events can completely change the path of life. If that asteroid had missed Earth, the story of life would have been written in a very different way. Speculating about a world where dinosaurs never went extinct isn't just a fun what if. It's a reminder of how fragile life on Earth is, and how much of our existence is the result of chance. In the end, imagining this world reminds us of just how lucky and how improbable our own story really is. If you loved this journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and leave a comment with your survival strategy. If dinosaurs never went extinct, I want to hear your ideas. Again, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay curious.